Hey guys, I'm Doctor McFarland, and really it's been an exciting week because we had a Helix update, a Headrush update with a new product, the Flex Prime, and now I guess they knew it was my birthday on the 15th because all the companies are coming out with updates. But now we have on the Toemaster Pro, we have scenes, and this for me is the missing link between the Toemaster Pro and what I'm used to on the Helix and ways I wish the Headrush would kind of work. So at this point, the Toemaster Pro is really high on my list for devices that just give me everything that I want as far as tone, flexibility, easeability, all the stuff, right? So let's make a new preset, which I could easily just take one of my existing presets and show you how to turn those into scenes. But let's just make a new one from scratch and add in all the elements, make scenes out of them, and let's just have fun. So if you're new to the channel, I am Dr. McFarland. I do tons of videos on modeling units. I also do stuff on recording. I have a studio here where I record different artists, bands, singer-songwriters, and these are the tools that I use to record bass, to record guitar, acoustic guitar, all the stuff. So without these digital modelers, I'd have to use some kind of tube amp or some other kind of amplification. And they are really just an amazing tool to use here in the studio. So very thankful that all these options are around. And without further ado, let's check out the screen. All right, so here's the Pro Control app that is amazing to use on your computer via a USB-C cable, or if you have a phone or a tablet, you can just download the app on that and it controls the device seamlessly. So works great, love it. Toemaster Pro is worth the money, by the way, just throwing that out there. All right, so here we go. What we're going to do is brand new in this release is a 59 Bassman. Amazing amp, lots of other great amps in here. Let's just see what happens with a 59 Bassman. Okay, we're just gonna do a combo amp. I usually like to have a head and a cab separately, but in this case, I don't care. Let's just go with it. Looks amazing. I love it. And we're just gonna keep adding some elements here. I can listen to things later. Let's go with a nice reverb. We'll go with a 65 spring reverb, and I will add a delay because I like having some kind of delay. We'll do a digital delay mono, which is fine. I do love me some tremolo. So let's go add in a tremolo. And these are just all the elements that I would naturally add anyways. And I like that one. It's the green Boss pedal tremolo, which is fine. And we have some really awesome new overdrives being added here. So we have the Mythic Drive 2, which is the silver Klon, and we already had the gold Klon for a while. So now we're going to add the silver Klon in there, and that's amazing. And then we have a cool John Mayer style green box. I say John Mayer, but I'm sure other players have used them over the years. But this is what they look like. And we do have a bass switch that gives you more bass or less bass depending on where the switch is. And we have drive, tone, level, and blend, very similar to the greener box or whatever they call it. Okay. And this is what the big Klon looks like. It looks amazing. And it's awesome that they actually made it this shape in the normal signal flow. But when you click on it, you get the actual look and size of the pedal. But I see why they did it this way, just to save space within the line and not, take up too much space. So that's pretty awesome. What else would I want on here? Not a whole lot. So let's just stick with this and move on. Okay. So now that we have all the elements that we want in this certain preset, let's go ahead and save, just so I don't shoot myself in the foot here. And this is going to be called Doc 59 Bass and Scenes. Okay. Another really awesome feature that I'm really happy about is Fender has added the option to save your presets on the computer and not just in the cloud. So that means I do have all my presets available on my website for sale. It's a one-time fee. And if you watch any of my live streams or watch the channel for any length of time and you want to help support the channel, it's just a one-time $20 fee. You get all the ToneMaster Pro presets I will ever make, past, present, and future. And it's just a great way to help donate to the channel. Say, hey, I appreciate your time making all these videos. I will give you a one-time $20 purchase, and you get a lot more in return over the years and years of content that I'll be making with the ToneMaster Pro. So thank you in advance. It's much appreciated. All right, so back to the rig here. I'm just going to turn down my guitar. I don't need to worry about too much stuff. So we have the Fender Bassman, volume normal, volume bright, treble, middle, bass, presence, on and off, obviously. And I really haven't found a way to change this. Yeah, you can't really change that, but it's fine. So how scenes work is actually very simple, and I just love it. So you click on foot switch. Let's go down here, and we now have scene, as you see there. We also have MIDI CCs, MIDI PC, amp control, parameter change, on and off. All amazing stuff. But let's click on scene. We'll make it clean with delay. How about that? And the reason why I'm doing that is this. I'll explain here in a second. There's really nothing else we really need to do for this other than maybe change the color, and now make this blue. And also our inactive is by default set to dim, which is what I want. And we do have 2 amp controls in here. That's pretty cool. We also have scene spillover. So if you want your delay and reverb tails to keep going as you switch your scenes, you can leave that on as it is by default, or you can turn it off and just have your delay and reverb be cut off when you go to another scene. So that's a viable option if that's what you want to do. Okay, so now the reason why I've named this clean with delay is if you actually have the scene off, then everything off just means that is your default scene. So you actually have 9 different scenes to choose from because the everything off option is your first scene, which is great. So with this off, I technically have my first scene. Let's just go back for a second. I'm going to turn off all the pedals I don't currently want on. And we got my tremolo, and we have my delay, and we have my reverb. So now let's actually dial in a sound that we like. Okay, a little bit too overdrivey for me. Let's go ahead and turn the amp level all the way up. We can also go here and go to preset settings, and we'll turn the preset all the way up just so we have a good starting point. Not bad so far. We'll turn the treble up, maybe turn up the bass, turn down the presence. And we'll also look at our cab option. Let's keep the mic around the cap edge, and we'll take down the high cut filter and the low cut filter. Could be about 100 or so. All right, so now this is our bass, our core sound right here. And what's cool about this is, I'm actually going to turn the reverb on real fast. All right, so this is the core sound with a little bit of reverb and my basic amp. Now, going into scene number 1, this is our option. Okay, we're going to turn all this off. See what happens here. Oh, that's really cool. Turn off the tremolo. We'll keep the reverb on, and we'll keep the delay on. Turn the mix down a little bit. Okay, notice on this delay that we have a scene edit. Okay, so this is how it's going to determine if the default settings you have on for the pedal is what's going to be on for the core basic sound or what you have per scene. So what that means is if I have the scene edit turned on, I can have the delay time be higher, I can have the mix be higher, and then in a different scene, I can have totally different parameters, which I know is amazing. So I think it's a pretty simple way to approach building scenes. And it's very similar to the Helix way of setting up a scene or a snapshot, as in you do have control over the individual parameters per scene. Headrush is still not quite there. You have to do some other workarounds, and it's just not as quick and intuitive as the Helix. Quad Cortex is also pretty easy, and now the Toemaster Pro has a very easy approach to changing parameters per scene. So I do like a good 450-ish milliseconds on there. I'll keep the feedback kind of high. That's not too bad. And then maybe bring the mix down. Okay, if we like this sound, we can also click on block preset and just call this a Doc 450 delay. That's just a good starting point for that. You can also see there's a scene edit on the amp as well, which is great. So if I wanted to have the basic sound without the delay, I could just have this be my core sound. But then when I kick in my clean with delay, I can turn on the scene edit and say, all right, I like that, but I'm going to now bring down the middle, maybe bring up the bass for whatever reason, and maybe add just a little bit more volume bright. Okay, and then we can save that, because you always want to save on the Toemaster Pro. And check out the settings here that happen. So if I turn this off, see how the knobs are changing? That's magical. Okay, so we have the clean, and then we have clean with delay. Okay, that's beautiful. Love it. Now, let's go on to another scene here. And we don't have to turn off the previous scene to set up a new one, unlike the switch link option where you had to be very careful on what you had on and off. It was just very confusing for a lot of people. So I was not a big fan. Now we're going to do clean trim. It's going to have the tremolo on there. And we can have this be, I don't know, let's have it be yellow. And we'll go back. And now we just simply turn on the pedals that we want. And also go in and maybe change something about the amp. Like we can turn the bass up even more and bring down the mids and make sure our delay is turned on. And then the tremolo can be turned on. And this is good. We'll turn the rate up just a tad. Okay, and now for this sound, let's say I want a totally different delay sound. So now I'm going to actually turn on my subdivisions. And let's make this a quarter note with the feedback, you know, kind of high and the mix a little higher. Okay, we will save that for there. And now going back to my clean with delay, you can see that my time has changed just a little bit there. The feedback changes. I kind of have the same mix parameter and the time parameter, but it is what it is. So now you can see I'm changing the parameters and the on-off status of that tremolo and the delay. Okay, pretty cool stuff. And it's very easy to set up. It's not confusing. I don't have to read a manual. You just have to know that the scene edit has to be turned on in order for that pedal to be stored and remembered. So now let's go for a nice crunch type sound here. And let's just go to our foot switch assign. And we're going to hit scene. And I will say, I actually call this rhythm. Usually my rhythm sound is more of like the crunchy side of things. We'll make it orange. Like so. And now let's not even worry about a pedal just yet. Let's just turn up the channel volume. Maybe the bright volume, turn down the bass, so forth, and let's just see what happens. Okay, let's turn down the amp level here. Okay. Now, notice I didn't do something. I messed up here on camera. Maybe not on purpose, but I did. So what happened is I didn't turn on my scene edit. So if I turn off my scene, then I've totally changed the sound and settings on my amp. So I'm gonna have to turn this back, turn the bright back like that, turn the amp volume back up. I'm sorry I messed up on camera, but this is the way you learn, right? So now, going back to my rhythm sound, I'm going to turn up the volume after I turn on that scene edit. Turn up the bright. Go to my amp level. Turn it down to about 60. And trust me, you're going to be working and totally forget to turn on the scene edit and be changing parameters that you don't want to. But it is what it is. So... All right, so even without any pedals, we've now cranked up the gain a little bit, and that's awesome. Let's save always and save often here. Turning off that scene now is my clean sound. Turning on the scene. Amazing. Simply amazing. Going to the clean trim. Glorious. Here's the clean with delay. Okay, then turning back off the scene. Okay, great, simple, straightforward, no questions, right? Now, let's turn on an overdrive pedal. Okay, so this is going to be scene. Let's call this rhythm clon because we're going to have the clon on here. And now we simply just go back, and we're going to make sure that our clon is turned on. And I'm not sure if we're going to need a scene edit or if we're going to have multiple ones of these, but we're just going to go with this. And let's see what our sound is. We'll keep the scene edit on for that. Then we'll turn on our delay. Maybe do the scene edit thing for this. And maybe keep the mix down a little bit, and also the time can be down a little bit. Okay, cool. That works for me. I didn't change any settings on the amp on this, just kept the same clean sound, but just added in the silver clon there. Okay. So now at this point, I have 4 scenes set up, and I really have one more pedal I have not utilized. So we do have an option here. If I wanted to have more instant access to a certain on-off status and parameter changes just by hitting one switch, then I can make another scene. But I think for now, I'm just going to add an on-off option for this green box. So this would be a cool way of just saying, okay, we're going to make this green, and I don't really need to give it a custom label, but yeah, the green box is fine. And now we have a separate on and off pedal that's not within the scene that I can add on top of any other scene that I want. So if I'm on my rhythm sound here, you want to turn on the green box. Now, if I turn off my rhythm scene, notice that the green box also turns off because the green box was not part of my core bass level scene, which is great. Okay, I can also do the same thing for my rhythm clone. Then turn on the green box for maybe a temporary boost of some sort. Then go back to my rhythm. And now the green box will stay on because I'm not going back to my core scene. I'm just going back to another scene. So that could be a drawback. If you didn't want that green box to be on, then you'd have to turn it off before you went to the other scene or whatever you wanted to do. But you'll figure out a good workflow for whatever you need for your set list, for your recording session, whatever. Okay. So really at this point, I could have the green box just separately on its own switch without it being in a scene. But let's say I wanted to have a dedicated lead scene with way more gain and the green box in the front. So let's do an audible right now. Let's just go ahead and set that up. And at this point, we really just need to delete this one and go back in and add the scene. And we'll call this lead. And usually my lead has some kind of delay in there. So I'll turn on the delay. I'll turn on my green box with the drive down, the level up. And I'll go ahead and crank the snot out of this amp because that's what we do. I'll also turn down the treble a little bit and maybe the presence so it's not as picky. Oh boy, that's great. Okay, so now I can turn that off. Back to my clean sound. Here's my clean with delay. Just a little bit. Clean with trim. And delay. Here's my rhythm sound. Rhythm with the clone. And then my lead. All right, guys. So that took me really not that much time. I probably could have done it way faster if I wasn't talking to a camera and trying to teach and all the same stuff. So anyway, I love this way more than the Switch Link. I'm sorry, I just do. Switch Link does have its place, but honestly, we all just wanted scenes all along anyway, and Fender gave the user base what we wanted. So amazing stuff. It's all in there. Tons more options, tons more things we can go over in future videos. So if you want to see how I approach the Toemaster Pro, then feel free to subscribe down below, click the bell, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the video and some other things that you would possibly want to do when setting up scenes on your unit. If you want to get access to all the presets I will ever make on the Toemaster Pro, then head over to the website. I will have a link in the description of this video so you can find it easily. And I greatly appreciate all the support. So thanks guys for watching. I am Dr. McFarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.